Hi, welcome back to my channel. So today we're continuing on with the Real Witches Year by Kate West. And I'm a little bit behind, so at the minute I'm looking at January 12th, which refers to the chalice. I don't know if you can see that there. So we're talking about the chalice, and that can look something like this. This is the one I've got here. I think this is actually a Nemesis one. So Nemesis, I think, retails some of the Anne Stokes merchandise, but yeah, this one is just like this. This bit comes out, so you can wash it, and you don't have to put the whole thing in the wash. And yeah, so that's what one can look like. But actually, you don't have to have anything fancy. You can just have a cup that you just put to one side and only use for this type of work. So I'll just firstly start with what is in this particular book, and then we'll maybe discuss it a bit further. So I'll just read you from the book because it is only small. In the craft, the chalice is not just a tool to hold liquid for enacting the rite of wine and cakes. It is also the symbol of the goddess. In the great rite, it is actually the symbol of her physical body, and the wine it holds becomes the promise of new life. The chalice is also symbolic of the goddess as wise one, where it becomes the cauldron where the magic of inspiration and knowledge is created by the goddess Ceridwen. In today's craft, the chalice can be made of many things: pottery, stone, wood, metal or glass. It can be highly decorated or plain and simple. It may have been specially made for the craft, or it may be an ordinary glass selected for the purpose. It is usual for every witch to have this in her own personal one. In addition, where there is a group of witches who meet regularly, there is usually a communal chalice, often somewhat larger, to avoid frequent refilling. Whatever kind of vessel is chosen, it should be kept aside from daily use and only used in magical workings. And then there's a passage here from the Charge of the Goddess, which is linked at the bottom, saying, "For mine is the cup of the wine of life and the cauldron of Ceridwen, which is the holy grail of immortality." So let's just have a look. Yeah, I've written a few notes just so I can keep on track, really. So I'm also going to have a quick, or show you quickly, this particular book, which is really handy. It's called The Sackle of Fire, and I'm not going to try and pronounce the authors' names there because I probably will do it wrong, but that's what it looks like. They're the authors. And in this particular book, it has reference to the tools of the craft and then what they refer to. So the chalice obviously being the vessel holding the wine or the water, so therefore the element associated with the chalice is water. The symbolism is of the divine feminine, the womb of the goddess, or as it said in the book, the cauldron of the goddess. And obviously then when it comes to its uses in ritual, it's to hold the wine for wine and cakes, or some people actually do use this to just put the element of water in, so you can use it for that purpose as well. So a couple of things, like going into again how you can use it during ritual, is if you are using it for your wine and cakes, obviously you use it to drink from. Another thing that you can do is if you have an athame or an athame, you can actually, as part of symbolism, dip the athame into the water, and that would symbolise then the union of the goddess and the god together as one, and also then that would be symbolic of the new life, or this sort of time of year when we're coming up to the birth of the god. So like I was saying before, the chalice, it really doesn't have to be anything grand, it doesn't have to be anything spectacular. The most important thing is that you don't use it for everyday work, so or drinking your daily glass of wine from it. It's something to be dedicated and special to your craft. And that's it really. That's all I really want to say on the chalice. I mean, like I say, they are lovely to get. You can get so many. Some of them really are inexpensive. But it doesn't matter. You don't have to have something grand. If you can't afford it, or you just want to use a standard cup, that's absolutely fine. All tools are just there as a representation of these other things, or are just there to help focus our intent and just make our ceremonies a little bit more special. So that's what I wanted to say on the chalice. Now I am going to combine a couple of the other days onto this video as well, because I have missed a couple of days, and there's a couple of bits in here maybe that aren't so detrimental to your workings, but maybe just more knowledge for you to gain. So January 13th, which is here, is going into the number 13, the folklore around it. So I will keep this brief, and if you guys want to have a little look into it more, which is always a good thing to do, then just to develop your own knowledge, then you can. So what it says here is the number 13 is often associated with witches, the craft and all things occult, and in many cases it's thought to be unlucky. For many years hotels and flats would be numbered without a number 13, either by missing it out altogether or by using 12A in its place. It has long been considered unlucky to seat 13 at a table for a meal. Where 13 people all sat down together, it was important that everyone rose to leave the table at the same time, as should one person be first to leave, they would die before the year had ended. Well, this is what obviously the folklore said. Whilst it is often said that the origins of the superstition of 13 as an unlucky number come from the Last Supper, where Jesus sat down with 12 disciples, there is also a Norse legend that 12 gods gathered for a feast, and all was well until Loki, making the 13th, arrived to join them. This legend substantially predates the Christian story. Another belief is that there should be 13 witches in a coven, and that this is the reason why 13 is considered unlucky. Some say that a coven should be made of 6 couples plus the high priestess, while others go further to say that each person should be from a different sign of the zodiac. Of course, were this rule to be followed, that would be very hard for covens indeed. Friday too was considered to be unlucky, and therefore Friday the 13th couples 2 fears in one. Personally speaking, I've always found that it to be a positive day. Fear of the number 13 is called Triskay, something over at the bottom there. I can't. I'm not going to attempt to read that. Just here, look. Yeah, that's. I'll definitely mess up on that, so I'll let you read that for yourself. But yeah, it's basically just referring to why historically it's the number 13, and then Friday the 13th has been superstition that it's a bad day and the number 13 unlucky. But yeah, if you want to have a little look into that more, then I certainly would suggest to go, YouTube, not YouTube, onto Google and stuff like that, and then you can probably find about a million things on that. So now we'll just move on to January 14th, and this page is self-cleansing. Okay, so in particular, she, the author at Kate West, is actually referring to self-cleansing in the case where, especially this time of year, a lot of people have decided to start new diets and a lot of times fail. And what she's suggesting is that you can use this little self-cleansing ritual to remove any, negative feelings, and also to instill in yourself the motivation and everything that you need. In this particular ritual, you'll need a piece of amber, a teaspoon of fennel seeds, which you should be able to get from the supermarket. It's not something I've ever looked for in the supermarket, so I'm not sure, but I'm sure it probably, especially if you go to a bigger supermarket. And a teaspoon of rock salt, and a spoonful of powdered milk. So what you have to do is then wrap these all up in a cloth. So you're basically making like a little pouch, tie it all together, and then you take these into a bath with you. So you want to make a nice hot bath, deep, and in here she's suggesting that at dusk or dawn this should be done. So then once you've run your bath with your pouch in there, you would add in 3 drops of rosemary, rose and rosewood oil, and then immerse yourself completely. So you would do this 3 times, and as you dunk in, so just before, while you're under the water, you should say, "Water, water, take away all my cares from me today. Give me health, give me strength, help me prolong my life at length." And let's say you would do this 3 times, and then on that 3rd time you would say, "Blessed be." And then yeah, it's just saying basically you relax, allow the worries to soak away, the negativity, just to remove all of that energy, and then rinse it down the plug hole. And then what she's saying you can do is, after you've had your bath, is remove the sachet and dry the amber, carry it in your pocket so you can keep touching upon it until you've felt that you've achieved what you desire. I think ritual bath is a fantastic way to get rid of negative energies, because most of the time negativity is an emotional based thing. So having water or using water to rinse away the water, and being obviously an emotional energy, it seems like a perfect fit. So another thing that you could do, which I personally like to do, and actually did this on Friday with the group of ladies that came to mine, where we have like a little psychic circle every once a month or whenever's convenient. We actually wrote down on a piece of paper something negative that we wanted to get rid of, or even just that we wanted to remove negativity entirely. And then what we did is we scrunched these pieces of paper up and had a little mini cauldron outside, and as we sort of released this negativity, we lit the paper, put it in the cauldron to burn away, and then we actually smudged each other with sage, because sage is a very cleansing herb. There are other things such as rosemary, cedar I believe as well is very good for cleansing, and you can actually get cedar and sage in together, I believe, as a big cleansing, like one of the sticks of herbs. So that's something that you can try as well. And yeah, self-cleansing is important, and not even just in the respect of for dieting or for having a specific. Sometimes it is just a good idea to cleanse yourself, and ritual bath, as she discusses here, is also good. This is a self-cleansing bath, but it's good to use that sort of thing also for when you're having a ritual bath, so before you're performing rituals and opening circles and things like that, or also before you're going to have healing. Things like that would be fantastic, because you're sort of flushing off anything that you don't need on your auric field or in yourself, so you can get rid of that in one swoop. But yeah, so that's just from so we've gone back from the 12th of January, the 13th of January and the 14th of January. So I do apologise it's late. Hopefully this video won't take too long to upload. And if you've got any questions or any requests or anything you want to know more information about, then please let me know and I will find out for you. So thank you for watching. Blessed be.